Hello YouTube, Dave here again. I am back after a pretty extended break. I took most of the end of December, probably from about the middle part of the month off, and honestly it was something that I needed. I needed to recharge the batteries. I was getting pretty burnt out, and honestly I was just trying to put out way too many videos a week, and it just reached the point where it wasn't really enjoyable. It felt more like a task than just sort of a hobby, which is where the channel originally started from. So I guess a little bit of an update going forward. I will probably not have any more weeks where there's 4 to 6 videos coming out all in the same week. I will probably be dropping the number down to 1 or 2 uploads a week, just something that will make it a little bit easier to sort of sustain, because the last thing I want to do is burn myself out to the point where I don't really enjoy making these videos anymore. With that said, I thought a good way to come back is just to show some of the things that I've managed to pick up over the holidays, either as Christmas presents or as just things that I managed to find out in the wild. So we'll just go right ahead and start off with that. The first thing I want to show here are these NES Coasters. I shown them actually in the last pickup video, but I didn't open them. I didn't want to look at the actual coasters themselves because this was something that I sort of given to be wrapped up and given back as like a stocking stuffer kind of thing. So I've got the box open here. The one disappointing thing is that it actually came bent up like this, which makes it a little bit difficult to reclose the package, but anyway, that wasn't me damaging it. That's how it actually came right out of the when I first opened it. But again, it looks like a really interesting product, and it shows a few different things like baseball, ice climber, Donkey Kong, Excite Bike, Metroid, Super Mario Brothers, and of course Legend of Zelda. So I think there's a little bit of randomness. I'm not entirely sure, but I already got this open, so I'll show you the ones that I got. So this is basically what the coasters look like. This is the first one. This is the Duck Hunt cartridge, which I never had the standalone one of these when I was a kid. I had an NES that came with the Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt combination, but we've got that there. And so it's shaped like sort of an NES cartridge, which is cool. And on the back, instead of just having like the, sort of like the cork or whatever the material is, like the Super Nintendo box art ones had that I'd shown in the previous video, it actually kind of looks like the back of a cartridge, which is pretty cool. And it's got like the 3 screws there. And just a really cool looking thing. Probably not the most useful for actually having this as a coaster, at least not with wet or cold drinks during like the summer. This is just a paper covering. There's a little bit of gloss to it, but I don't think it's enough. If you had something with condensation, for example, I could just see it leaving pretty ugly rings on these. For me, I buy these because they're more of like a decorative item, and when I get a good video game display set up, I would love to have sort of these just dispersed throughout. So that's the first one there. We have Duck Hunt. The next one, and the backs all look the same, but the next one we have is Excite Bike, another game I used to play a ton of when I was a kid. I used to love making the courses and everything. Then we have Donkey Kong, Arcade Classic Series, Metroid, which I haven't really gotten too much into playing the original Metroid. It's something that I am meaning to do, but we got that. Of course, you have the classic Super Mario Brothers. One of my favorite games, even though I've actually never fully beaten this one yet. I need to go back and fix that. Super Mario Brothers 2, and again the backs just all look the same. Super Mario Brothers 3, one of the best NES games of all time. And the one that I was really hoping to get, and that is the Legend of Zelda. Again, my favorite video game franchise of all time. So I was really happy that that this was in here. And you know, it's the gray cart, which is actually the way that the cartridge looked right towards the end when they re-released them. It would have been kind of neat if they had a gold one, but still happy just to have a Zelda cartridge there. So those were the coasters. And like I said, I wanted to show those off first, just where they were something that I had done in a separate video. So up next, we got some Christmas presents, stuff like that. The first 2 things I want to show off were actually given to me by my brother-in-law, and they are a pair of Magic the Gathering pre-constructed commander decks. So this is, I believe, from 2018, the Nature's Vengeance. This is one of the this was from, yeah, this was 2018 where they had Planeswalkers available as your commanders. And I think this was one of the more popular ones. I mean, I'm not really concerned about that. It's just something that I think would be a lot of fun to play. But we have this one here, and I love green. It's my favorite color in Magic. So really, really cool to have that. And not only did I get that from him, he also gave me this Arcane Wizardry Commander deck, and this is from the 2017 series. And so yeah, it's actually cool to have some options now for a commander. And next time I go down, if both my brother-in-laws are down visiting at the same time, then we'll be able to actually have a 3-player commander game, which I think is going to be really, really cool. So absolutely love those. Haven't taken them out yet, but I will have to open those up once I get some sleeves for them. All right, up next, let's go right to the big gift that we got this year for the family. So every year we sort of have like one big family gift. A few years ago it was the Wii U. Last year, 2 years ago, it was a large TV. This year we got finally a Nintendo Switch. So I love the Nintendo consoles, and this thing is really, really cool. I'm not really into a lot of modern games. In terms of like the Xbox or the PlayStation, I probably won't ever own any of those unless they get really, really cheap. But the Nintendo Switch was something that I really wanted to get, and absolutely love the system. It's hooked up to our TV now, but even over the Christmas holidays where we were away, I got to use it a lot in the handheld mode. And it was really cool, actually, to have it like that, or to have like the screen just sort of on its little kickstand, and just having it and using like the Joy-Con grip there. I did also get a Legend of Zelda wired controller, but I accidentally we were trying to get back, and there were so many things to keep straight. So unfortunately, I ended up leaving that back in on the South Shore. So we'll have to pick that up next time we're down, and I'll show it off on video when I finally get it. But there was a corded Legend of Zelda sort of Breath of the Wild style controller for the Switch as well, which is really, really cool. Along with that, we ended up getting some games. So the first one that we have here is Ark Survival Evolved. This was a game that my fiance was really, really big into on the PC. And unfortunately, this doesn't quite live up to those expectations. The graphics aren't as good in the Switch version as it could have been, but I think that's more to do with how it was ported over, and not so much the fact that, you know, it was just the Switch, because there are other games that I've seen videos of that look way better, but it's still playable. Like, I played it for a little bit, and I actually enjoyed it, so I would probably still play this a little bit. It has all the features, as far as I know, of the game. It's just not as graphically intense, I guess you could say, but still pretty cool. So we got that. For our daughter, we picked up the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee game, and I got to play this a little bit as well. It's actually pretty neat, and one of the things that I like about the Switch is that you can set up multiple users on the system, and each user has their own set of game saves. So so for me, for example, going in and playing this wouldn't overwrite her save, which is something that I think is really important. So really, really cool. And there is a way to play this 2-player, although we haven't actually done that yet. But there we go. All right, up next we got a couple of games that came in some pretty nice little bundles here. So the first one that we have is Splatoon 2. So we have the first Splatoon for the Wii U, which is an absolutely just blast of a game to play. But this is one that came in a box. So, and I'm a sucker for boxes when it comes to video games, stuff like that. But not only does it come in a box, it also comes with a booklet. So this is referred to as a strategy guide, or splattegy guide, because, you know, you got the themes there for the squids and the ink and stuff like that. And just, again, anything that comes in a box with a booklet for video games these days is something that I think is kind of special, because not many games come with stuff like this anymore. So we got the box. Now I've taken the stuff out only because as you open and sort of close the box, the top doesn't really like to sit very like closed anymore the more you use it. So decided that I wasn't going to keep opening and closing the box tab. Just take the stuff out and store them on a shelf. And of course we got the game here as well. Another thing I guess I should point out is when it comes to the Switch, the games are pretty small, like just absolutely tiny little games. So it's just interesting to see how far things have come, because these are still pretty big games that they have packed into these little tiny, like basically like SD cards sort of thing. Again, just really really small, but super cool as well. Absolutely love this game. And when you get, you know, a nice bundle that comes with a box and a strategy guide or a little booklet, especially these days, hard to pass that up. So along those lines, I also got the same thing for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I picked this up as well. I do have it for the Wii U as well, but our Wii U is running out of storage space. Another great thing about the Switch is that you can use a micro SD card on it, which we got a 64 gig micro SD card for, I think it was less than $20, which was, in my opinion, a pretty good price. So we have one of those in there, but I needed to have this. It was a Zelda game, has a box, again, comes with a booklet, the Explorer's Guide, as I call it here, and just again some really cool stuff in these books. Absolutely love them. And we got the game here as well. And I also, in addition to the game, after Christmas, got the expansion for it as well. So this is the expansion pass. So this has all the DLC. I'm currently going through and playing the game properly. I haven't beaten it yet on the Switch version, but I did just beat the last of the 4 Divine Beasts, so I'll just kind of go around, clear out a few more shrines, and then take the fight to Ganon. But again, really cool, and love the fact that it comes in a box. But here's sort of what I was talking about. So the more you open and close it, the easier it is for it to sort of just keep popping up like that. So I just have the boxes on display on a shelf, and I've got the game and the manual out for it. The one thing I will say about these strategy guides or booklets that come with these, and there's a set like this for Super Mario Odyssey as well, which is another game that I would like to get. It's cool that they have these, and they're the exact same price as just the standalone version with just the plastic case. But these booklets really just sort of feel like the old instruction books from, you know, back in the NES, Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, Wii, basically up until the last generation when they just stopped putting booklets in games. These just feel like slightly better produced instruction books that you used to get. And I miss the fact that, you know, games used to come with instructions. So again, another motivation for getting these. In addition to that, I also managed to pick up, on a pretty good sale, the starter set for Starlink Battle for Atlas. This is the Switch version, which has a completely unique ship versus what the starter sets were for both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, which had the exact same starter set, aside from the game itself and what system it plays on. This one actually comes with the R-Wing from Star Fox, and I'll do a separate video for this at some point in the near future, but this is a really cool game. So you have the ship itself, all the different pieces have these like chips on them, and you can basically read what these are. So you have like the pilots, so we have Fox McCloud, as well as the main character from the Starlink game, and I'll be honest, I never played with him yet, so I can't remember what his name is. But you have the pilot, you have the ship. So you have the pilots, the ships, and then they have these interchangeable weapons that you can use. So you can buy extra ones that you can sort of swap out. But with the R-Wing, if you have nothing installed, you can actually just use the default blasters, which is pretty cool. It's basically like a space kind of shooter game. You fly around in your ship, but you can also visit planets and fly around on the surface there. From what I've done so far, everything is all in the ship, which is fine. But it's actually pretty cool because you can go from, you know, space onto the planet's surface, and there's no like loading screen or transition that kind of takes you out of the action. It just seems to transition directly from one to the other, which is pretty cool. So this was originally the original sales price, or original sticker price on it, and the sales price. So the original price was $99.99, again in Canadian dollars, but it was on sale for $29.99, and that was actually a misprint. The sticker said $29.99, but it was scanning in the system at $49.99, I think it was, so saved a little bit there, and really, really cool game as well. Alright, up next is something that I just picked up the other day, but it's something I've been searching for a very, very long time, and that is Season 5 DVD for the show Person of Interest. So a while back, I had shown that I had like the first 4 seasons, and this is a really, really great show. But Season 5 was almost impossible to find. We were looking for it basically everywhere, and the store that we bought Seasons 1 through 4, that's all they ever had. They finally got Season 5 in back in, say, October, I think it was, but they were charging $38.99 for it, which was just way too much. I was checking it every time we were at the mall, and the price just never came down, never came down. Finally, right before Christmas time, I was in the store, and they had dropped the prices for their DVD sets down to the price of $13.99. But Season 5 was gone. They had Season 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the copy of Season 5 that was at that price, the $39 forever, that was gone. And I was there like the day before, so they literally switched it that morning, and later in the afternoon it was gone. But finally have it. They got it back in stock, and I jumped. I wasn't gonna wait and you know, try to pick it up later, so I had the money on me, picked it up right away, and can't wait to go back and watch this again. Alright, after that I do have some role-playing related stuff for the Starfinder, and one thing for the Pathfinder role-playing game. The first thing that I'll show off I picked up before Christmas. This is the Starfinder Asteroid Flip Map. So this was the one that came out in December. And I'll do an opening video for it as well, but really happy to pick that up. Had to pick it up right away because I love these flip mats. Alright, in addition, just today actually, at the time that I'm recording this, I also picked up my own copy of the Packed Worlds Pawn Collection. I'm really sorry for the glare here. So this is a Starfinder Poinsett, so these are like the cardboard stand-up minis. And I didn't have this set. I had the Alien Archive set, and I had the core rulebook set. So I have these ones now as well. I think the only set I'm missing at this point was for the first Adventure Path, the Dead Suns Adventure Path, and I have never seen those in stores where I live. So hopefully it's something that will come out at some point in the near future. But I finally, you know, the store that I go to finally got this back in stock, and again had the money, had the funds, so picked it up on the spot. All right, last 2 Starfinder things, and the final 3 things here altogether. The first one is another installment of the Dead Suns Adventure Path. So I want to collect as many of the adventure paths for Starfinder as I can. I have the entire 3-part arc of the Against the Aeon Throne storyline, but I didn't have the Dead Suns Adventure Path. I had like the second installment for quite a while, actually. It's been almost a year since I picked that up. And but I had trouble finding the first one, and actually Paizo sent that to me. I'm going to be doing a video for that in the next week or so as well. And but my local bookstore had the part 3, so I ended up getting that as part of my my Christmas presents as well. And I'm looking forward to again getting the entire 6-part installment for this. So we got that. Then we have part 2 of the current adventure path, another 3-part arc. This is the Signal of Screams part 2 of 3. This is the Numbra Protocol. And I'm really looking forward to actually sitting down and giving this a read. So this is another installment of sort of like their horror-based campaign arc, and the first one was really enjoyable. Like, I really liked it, and I don't know if the P there is meant to be silent, so it's either the Penumbra Protocol or the Umbra Protocol. It's sometimes with like these words they're a little bit off, so if I pronounce it wrong, I pronounce it wrong. But this is, again, a really cool path, and I'm really looking forward to, again, reading through all of this and potentially running it. It's something that I am planning on running after I run the Aeon Throne path. So really looking forward to getting to spend more time reading this. All right, and the last thing that I'm going to show here was given to me again just today. And this is a set of Pathfinder flip tiles. So I've shown off some of like the Dungeons and Dragons tiles over the course of like the last year or so. They had some that come out back in January of 2018. So this is a Pathfinder set. Now I think these are all like the same size as far as like the dimensions of the tiles go, but I've been really interested to see what these tiles are like, because they look really cool. And these ones are, as far as I know, I think you can actually use dry or wet erase markers on them. Yeah, you can. You can actually use the markers on these. One of the questions I've had with like the D&D tiles reincarnated sets was if you could use the dry or wet erase markers on them. And I would always tell people no, because they had sort of a texture to them that would probably catch a lot of the marker and make it difficult to wipe off and clean off. So I'm really looking forward to opening this up, and I'll do a video for this actually. But this is the Forest Perils expansion set, and again, just looks like some really cool stuff in here. So like I said, I'll do a separate video for that in the weeks to come. But really cool thing that was given to me, and really appreciate receiving this, because I've been considering picking these up for a while and just never pulled the trigger. So this may be the start of a new sort of, I don't want to say obsession, but a new set of products that I may end up picking up as well. So these are kind of like basically they're like the flip mats, only you have like the smaller portions that you can just sort of slide together or put over top of an existing flip mat. So really cool. Really looking forward to seeing what these are like. So anyway, those were my holiday pickups. So a little bit of everything, and just some really cool stuff, and some things that I can actually make some videos for a while, for the foreseeable future, at least through the end of the month of January for sure. So anyway, again, I just want to thank everyone for their support and their understanding where I needed just to, again, take some time off and reach the point just sort of mentally where making videos was fun again and not a chore. So for the people that managed to stick around or stick with me through that, I really appreciate the understanding and the support. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and hope to see you in the next few days. So thanks again for watching. See you next time.